What's up, guys? I'm Another Massive Valves, and before we get into things, as of right now, there's 5 spots left in the CBT, or the limited format CBT, so go enter. And the other thing is, if you have any ideas for other things I can do to spice up the background here, let me know. I'm not sure what else I can do. Maybe put something on the ground, maybe back things up a bit, have more space, I don't know. But I was thinking about that. So, let's get into it. Today we've got another top 10. I thought it's been a week or so, I think, since I've done another one of these. So, let's go. So today we've got attack type tips. I figure stamina is probably stamina is the easiest one for me to do because there's a lot of stamina tips I like. Unlike defense, where I don't really use defense base much, and attack, where there's a few I like, but not a lot. So, I'll start off with some honorable mentions. Wide semi-flat and circle flat are pretty similar to wide flat, so they're not on this. Technically, if you were to put them together, right? Let's see. Okay, wide flat is a little bit wider because circle flat kind of comes inward. But they're roughly where did that just roll to? Okay. But they're roughly the same, and same with wide semi-flat and wide flat. So I didn't want to put a bunch of those that are like roughly the same. I don't use them in the 0G stadium either. Also blade semi-flat, because I just don't really know much about it. It's not off of Julian, or it's still on Julian right now. I don't know much about this tip. So yeah. So number 5, we've got old reliable whole flat. Well, that's not a particularly great attack tip, but it's a solid attack tip. I really like using lightning on Drago and this, lightning on Dragos. It's got a pretty solid stamina for an attack tip, or it's got good stamina for an attack tip. Tends to outlast things. I think it's a little bit better than flat, personally. So that is not much to say. It's not a great tip, but it's good. So next up, we've got rubber flat. Rubber flat is going fourth. I don't use rubber flat often. Here's the thing. I think rubber flat would probably be my second favorite. I should get this up here. But a lot of my rubber flats, as they've gotten old, they've gotten bad. If you've seen Storm Pegasus in some of the battles, Storm Pegasus, depending on which rubber, if I'm using not the good one, or one of the good ones, it is awful. So my opinion on rubber flat isn't as high because while other tips wear down, they're still good or still usable, and rubber flat just isn't. For me, at least. So rubber flat is number 2. Besides that, rubber flat, for a new rubber flat, is a great attack tip. It's up there, with the best. It's just, a lot of mine aren't like that, so I have a hard time putting it higher than the 4th. Next, we've got wide flat. Everybody, if you know me, you know my combo. Screw Unicorno 145 wide flat. Because of that combo, I really like wide flat. That's really the only reason it's this high. I don't really use wide flat besides that. It's pretty fast, kind of hard to control. I have other tips that I prefer. But special place, and it doesn't suck when it gets worn down like my rubber flats, and it's better than whole flat. So, or at least I think it's better than whole flat, because when you can control it, it hits much harder being faster. So wide flat is number 3. Number 2, we've got metal flat. I really like metal flat. I think it's a super unique tip. Sometimes a metal flat doesn't like to cooperate and spin in like an attack tip, but I think this is a really cool tip. It's really unique. They've done this a couple tips, metal spike, but I love it in metal ball. But I love that they turn, flat into a, attack tip like this. It's metal. Metal, if I'm not mistaken, doesn't stick to the stadium as well, but it's a really good attack tip. It's not too hard to control, but also pretty fast. Yeah, it's really, really nice. Unlike, compared to wide flat, it's not quite as wide as wide flat. But compared to whole, I'm not gonna put them up this time. It's really about as flat as a whole flat or regular flat, but I just think it's much better. So metal flat is number 2, and last but not least, number 1, obviously R squared F. I like R squared F more because, although maybe this one doesn't do that, most of my R squared Fs and leftover flats as well. Something leftover flat is on because it's basically just R squared F, except these it's inversed, these little thingies, wings, I guess, are pointing the opposite way. except for maybe this one, I haven't used this one in a while. Most of my R2Fs, unlike the rubber flats, are still perfectly fine on their non 40 bays. I mean, none of them are great on regular bays, or regular like 40 and heavy bays. But when it comes to the regular size bays, lighter ones, the older ones, they all work perfectly fine. They don't suck like my RFs. Galaxy is still really fun and really good to use. Unlike Storm Pegasus, who seemingly sometimes doesn't even spin almost that aggressively. It is the fastest, but has the least amount of stamina. But I like that. I like hyper offense. So if I'm going with an attack tip, a lot of times I want to just hit as hard as I can and have the best chance to knock out. Because if I don't knock him out, I'm probably not going to win anyway. So R2F is my personal favorite attack tip. So let me know what you guys. I hope this was a better one than the last one because we're not talking about defense tips. So tell me what your favorite attack tips are in the comments below. If you have any ideas for how to improve the setup here, the look of it, let me know. And enter the limited format CBT number 6. We've got 5 entries left. We're going up to 24 players. And yeah, that's all I've got to say. So hope you guys enjoyed. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.